The holiday season is upon us, and although I'm not by any means a fanatic for Christmas or anything, the month brings out some of our best and sometimes our worst. This year I've been diving into the Discworld series, and for the end of the year I decided to read Hogfather because 'tis the season. I had seen the TV film adaptation the year before, and I couldn't be more excited to read it, but I don't think I was fully prepared for the way this book would touch me. For those of you who absolutely have no idea what nonsense I'm talking about, Discworld is a series of books by the late and great Sir Terry Pratchett that documents the lives, history, and mythology of the Discworld, a flat planet bouncing on the back of 4 elephants and the great turtle Atuin. Much like our world's fantasy, it has wizards and trolls and assassins and elves, but like our reality, some of them are dentists and carpenters and musicians and cops. It's satire, and it's beautiful, and as Pratchett described it, an antidote to fantasy. The absurdity of the Discworld is what makes it the perfect way of telling meaningful stories. There's a ton of videos out there to help you delve into the universe further if you're interested, which I hope you just might be after this. The Hogfather is basically Discworld's Father Christmas. He flies around in a sleigh led by hogs to deliver presents to the good children on Winter's Eve night, or Hog's Watch. But the auditors of reality, who basically see to the universe functioning, have sent an assassin after him because they believe destroying the Hogfather will discourage humans from being, well, human. They hate life, especially humans, because it's unpredictable and messy and they can't control it. The problem is, with all that extra belief not being used to believe in the Hogfather, it's beginning to boil over, and it's not all pleasant. Childhood nightmares start to loom at every corner, and if you believe in it, well, then it's real, isn't it? Not to worry, though. Death is here to save the day. Yes, skeleton and all, with a clip-on beard and big red hat, to take up the Hogfather's job, while his granddaughter Susan goes after the assassin himself.
Ho, ho, ho!
No, no, no!
Death is like the absurdist hero. Though calling Death a hero might not feel like it fits, Discworld's Death is as gentle as a spring's breeze. But come a gust of wind, or a tornado, that's out of his control. In other words, Death simply is, and what I love about him is his simple curiosity and admiration for life. A recurring theme in Death novels is his struggle between his existence and his, for lack of a better word, humanity. As Death, he exists to bring the dead through the process. He sees everything from murdered men to dying match girls to the tube worms at the bottom of the ocean crumbling under a rock. He doesn't just understand the indifference of the universe, he's part of that indifference every day. But for one night, Death doesn't have to be Death anymore, and he doesn't just get to be a farmer or a beggar, but the Hogfather himself. For one night, Death gets to spend it giving humans every reason to believe in the Hogfather, to keep him alive. He gets to give kids every gift they've ever wanted, no matter how ridiculous, and he loves every second of it. Death gets to embody a creation of the human's imagination, and I think nothing delighted him more. To be desired by them rather than feared like he's used to. While Death often has a certain humorous air to him, like most Discworld characters do, he doesn't often tend to be happy, like truly happy. As the Hogfather, he was as close as he'll probably get. There's a moment in the book that stuck out to me. After all's said and done, Death is sitting in the nursery for the kids Susan works for. He's observing the wallpaper covered in little bunnies and overcoats, and remarks on how there would never be a real rabbit in an overcoat. He had seen many rabbits, and none wore overcoats, but how humans find joy in their simple imagination. That children find humor in cute rodents wearing clothing. Why rodents are considered cute and happy at all. They're simply an animal among many animals, but to understand humans would be to understand why we would put a rabbit in a waistcoat. We've all heard of Peter Rabbit or Winnie the Pooh or any variety of Disney movie. Who doesn't remember the simple joys of a child's imagination, playing spies and knights and princesses? And we remember our fears, the nightmares of what's under the bed and hiding in the dark, and ghosts that were as real to you as the news on the TV. Belief in things is simply a willingness in yourself to know something as truth, and what makes it real and exist in the universe is the collective belief in that truth. Death proclaiming the absence of inherent right and wrong in the universe doesn't negate that he also believes there is, in fact, a right and a wrong, and it's our humanity that makes us believe in them. Death is someone who's existed as long as, well, dying has existed, from the very beginnings, and he spent that existence trying to understand life. The lives from the wizards of the unseen university to the lives of the tiniest tube worm at the bottom of the ocean. They fascinate him with their simple and yet powerful way of looking at the world. They created justice and duty, laws, morals and ethics, and also tooth fairies and boogeymen and hogfathers, and death himself in a way. The only reason death appears the way he does is because that is what people believe death looks like. When death proclaims,
You need to believe in things that aren't true. How else can they become?
he reveals humanity's greatest strength, and why the auditors of reality are so scared by them. As I'm sure some of you out there might understand, sometimes the universe just seems like it doesn't care, that nothing you do makes a difference or really changes any injustice or evil in this world. But something that's become clear to me, that Hogfather really illuminated for me, was that if I believe, and I mean truly believe, in anything in this world, it's in people, in people's capability of kindness and bravery and compassion and desire to be better. In the face of all the bad and wrong in the world, to choose to believe in the good, because without that, how can anything change? And if death can be the Hogfather for a night because humans have convinced him of their goodness and worth in this universe, why not give people a chance? Take a leap of faith to trust in someone or believe the best in them. Despite all the injustices in the universe, like my other favorite absurdist hero would say, prove to the world what it could be, to show it what it can be. And most importantly, believe in yourself, your ability to do good, and in others. You never know. Maybe you could save someone's life.